There's a verse so famous that even people who've never opened a Bible can recite it from memory. A verse that's been read at funerals, whispered in hospital rooms, carved into gravestones on every continent on earth. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. You've heard it, maybe 100 times. But here's what nobody told you. The man who wrote those words wrote them while running for his life, hunted, betrayed, sleeping in caves. Because Psalm 23 is not a peaceful poem written by a man at rest. It's a battle cry written by a man on the edge. Stay with me. By the end of this, you will never read this verse the same way again. King David. Most people know the name, fewer know the man. Before David wore a crown, he was a shepherd boy, so overlooked by his own father that when the prophet Samuel came to anoint the next king of Israel, his dad didn't even bother calling him in from the fields. He was out there with the sheep. David was a shepherd. He knew what it cost to lead through dangerous terrain. Then, in one of the most dramatic betrayals in ancient history, his own son Absalom stages a coup, takes the throne, sends an army to hunt his own father down. David flees Jerusalem, barefoot, weeping, his kingdom in flames. So when you hear, "The Lord is my shepherd," you're not hearing a man in a palace. You're hearing a man with nothing left, choosing to believe anyway. Now let's go through this line by line, because almost every phrase carries a meaning that gets lost in translation. I shall not want. In Hebrew, the word for want is chaser. It doesn't mean wishes or desires. It means to run out, to be depleted. David isn't saying, I'll get everything I ask for. He's saying, whatever I truly need, I will not run out of. That's a very different promise. He makes me lie down in green pastures. Here's something almost no one knows about sheep. Sheep will not lie down if they are afraid. They won't lie down if there's conflict in the flock. They only lie down when every threat has been removed. So when David writes, he makes me lie down, he's describing a peace so complete, so total, that even an anxious, fearful creature can finally rest. He leads me beside still waters. Sheep are terrified of moving water. They'll die of thirst before drinking from a fast-moving river. A good shepherd finds, or sometimes builds, still water for them. God doesn't just give you what you need. He calms it first, makes it safe to receive. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, this isn't metaphor. Wadi Kelt, an actual ravine near Bethlehem, was where shepherds led flocks through pitch darkness, where predators hid, where one wrong step meant a fatal fall. David isn't promising you'll avoid the valley. He's promising you won't walk through it alone. I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Not because the valley disappears, not because nothing bad happens, because you are with me. Now here is where the psalm does something extraordinary, something so subtle that most people read right past it. For the first 5 verses, David speaks about God. He makes me, he leads me, he restores, he. And then, right in the middle of the darkest verse, something changes. For you are with me. The grammar shifts. David stops talking about God and starts talking to him. In the deepest darkness of the whole psalm, David stops describing his shepherd from a distance and suddenly reaches out to touch him. That's not a typo. That's a man who, in his worst moment, closed the distance. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. The word follow in Hebrew is radaf, and radaf doesn't mean gently follow. It means to chase, to hunt, relentlessly. The same word used when David's enemies hunted him through the wilderness. He's saying, the same intensity that my enemies pursued me, goodness pursues me. Mercy doesn't wait politely at a distance. It chases me down. David wrote this from a cave, from a hillside with no army and no throne. And what he chose to believe, not in comfort but in crisis, was this: I am known, I am led, I will not run out. That's not a poem for funerals. That's a declaration for anyone who feels like the valley has no end. If this hit differently than you expected, share it with someone who needs it today. Subscribe for more scripture unpacked like this, one verse at a time.